I mean, from what I'm seeing, it's like the Tartarian Empire, and it was like you had all the frequencies, the bells, and like I even walk where I am now because I've become conscious of that. I can look at all the buildings, and it's usually churches or government buildings if they weren't destroyed. And even with giants, you see loads of pictures with giants,
Mhm.
and what's that about? Like it's, but the problem is they hide everything, so it's impossible to know the truth. But it's not as if this is like a doctored picture or something like that. These are going for a long time that they have these pictures, and like the World Fairs as well. Like that didn't make sense either in America. Like they created this massive kind of city as such, and then just demolished the tree. I think what they were doing is they demolishing the Tartarian uh, buildings, and that's what it was about. It just everything. There was like Crystal Palace as well. There was like all glass. I don't know. Did you see that one? Like
Yeah.
everything was like, what? And they can't build that stuff now. It just nothing's making sense.
No, that's it. They can't do it now. And then you see, there was like there's a guy on YouTube. He's called John Levy, Levi Levy. I'm not really sure how Levi, but you should check him out. I mean, he's got some good stuff. He never gives opinions. He just says, "Look at this. How did they do that?" And it's like, and he's showing this. It's a painting, and it was one of these old buildings, like after the Civil War in America. And they're actually got a guy with a hammer and a chisel in this huge big block, 10 times the size. And he's standing there. This is a picture. And then there's this massive building behind him. And he says, this is what they're actually building. And it's huge. I mean, it would have took them about 1,000 years with a hammer and chisel. To like, yeah, and then it wouldn't have been like completely flat. You know, I've actually used a hammer and chisel on a few different things, you know, unfortunately over the years. And you know, you can't get a nice smooth surface like that. It's like these are like marble finishes, stones. You don't get that with a hammer and chisel, no matter what. You know, but he's got some good stuff, and it just shows. And all it is just to start making you think. It's like, you know, no, no, that's not right. You know, and then you see these things that are actually built into, or are they built into the rock. So you've got this big cathedral that's built into the rock. Well, was it really built into the rock, or was it melted and ran over it, you know, somehow, or flooded somehow? And you know, there's it creates a lot more answers than it questions than it does answers. But like it does, I think hopefully if people would open their mind and open their pineal gland a little bit and start to question exactly what they see in front of them.